February 9, 2008. Sangin, Helmand Province, Afghanistan. Lance Corporal Matthew Croucher is a member of the Royal Marines Reserve, sent to Sangin with his 40 Commando group. The region was a hotspot of Taliban insurgent activity, and British forces were heavily engaged in counter-insurgency operations. The goal of these missions was to disrupt Taliban operations, secure areas, and support local Afghan communities. Croucher's unit was part of Operation Herrick, which was the name given to British military operations in Afghanistan. Their missions were a broader strategy to weaken Taliban control and improve security in the region. Croucher was serving as a reconnaissance operator and heavy weapons specialist. The Commando reconnaissance force that he was a part of was patrolling near the village of Nazad. Their task was to conduct reconnaissance in a neighboring village, Sangin, and confirm suspicions about a Taliban compound there. The compound in question was thought to be used by Taliban fighters to manufacture improvised explosive devices. Lance Corporal Croucher's section was deployed on this highly dangerous and challenging operation. In the early hours of February 9th, the Commando Reconnaissance Force navigated the rugged terrain between the forward operating base Robinson and the suspect compound. They used night vision devices and were conscious of the constant threat of attack from IEDs, ambush, and other traps. Despite the challenging environment and the mental concentration required, they successfully made it to their target location and established an overwatch position. They watched the compound, looking for any sign of activity, but they were unable to confirm from the outside if the compound was manufacturing improvised explosive devices. In order to be certain that the compound was an IED manufacturing site, the group decided to send a small four-man team to conduct a very high-risk, close-target reconnaissance. This required the team to enter the compound, and Lance Corporal Croucher was included. Although they didn't observe any movement from outside, the compound was believed to be occupied. The team moved forward with extreme caution and stealth, unsure of the number of Taliban, if any, that might be present. They approached the compound and successfully gained entry without incident. After 30 minutes of gathering intelligence, the team had identified numerous items that could be used by insurgents to manufacture IEDs, confirming their suspicions. The commander gave the order for the team to extract back to their prearranged rendezvous point with the remainder of the Commander Reconnaissance Force. Lance Corporal Croucher was leading the group as they commenced the extraction. Behind him, approximately 5 meters away, were the team commander and another Marine, with the fourth team member a short distance behind them. As the team moved stealthily through the darkness of the compound, Lance Corporal Croucher felt a wire go tight against his legs just below his knee. Without the need for much thought, he instinctively knew what it was. A tripwire connected to a grenade, positioned to kill or maim intruders in the compound. His instincts were confirmed when he heard the fly-off lever eject. The grenade, now armed, rolled on the ground towards him and settled immediately next to his position. Within milliseconds, Croucher made a complete and rapid assessment of the situation. First, he knew he had to warn his teammates. Grenade! Tripwire! But he knew that behind him, although 5 meters away, his teammates were completely exposed without immediate cover. In the darkness, Croucher had no idea what type of grenade it was or how long the fuse would burn. With time running out and his comrades still exposed behind him, Croucher made the ultimate decision. He didn't run for cover or even attempt to move the grenade in fear of his teammates still being exposed. Instead, he knew he must shield them from the impending explosion. Lance Corporal Croucher dived face first onto the ticking grenade. Now, lying with the device underneath him in what were potentially the last seconds of his life, he still had his teammates in mind. Unbelievably, thinking that he wasn't covering the grenade enough, Croucher quickly flipped to his back, pressing his fully packed day bag against the device. He tucked his knees to his chest and waited for the inevitable. Meanwhile, the team commander, upon hearing the initial warning, dived to the ground behind Croucher. The rear man in the team was able to take cover by stepping back around the corner of a building. However, the other team member was unable to react quickly enough and was still upright, fully exposed within the lethal range of the grenade. Bang! The grenade detonated. The majority of the explosion was absorbed, partly by the ground, but mostly by Lance Corporal Croucher. Most of the lethal fragmentation was contained under his body. Miraculously, the equipment in Croucher's backpack combined with his body armor prevented any lethal shards hitting his body. He lay still for seconds, disoriented from the blast directly underneath him. His eardrums had been perforated, and his nose was bleeding. His bag was torn to shreds, and his body armor and helmet were riddled with grenade fragments. However, combined with a disorientation and a headache, no doubt, these were the only injuries he sustained. This is made even more amazing by the fact that a lithium battery within his day sack had also exploded and was quoted to be burning like a flare. With no burns, only the minor injuries mentioned and a superficial face wound suffered by the commander, the team was unscathed. The grenade, however, didn't only serve as a means to rid the compound of intruders. It also acted as an alarm. The team had no time to rest as they returned to their initial task of maneuvering to their rendezvous location. After confirming with the troop commander that no significant casualties had been sustained, a shocking decision was made. The team's medic had suggested that Croucher be evacuated, but they also knew that Taliban insurgents were bound to attempt a follow-up to the incident summoned by the explosion. This would set up an opportunity for the Marines to ambush the ambushers. As anticipated, enemy activity was observed by the Commando reconnaissance force. Lance Corporal Croucher and the rest of the team, having refused to be evacuated, engaged the enemy. Only a few minutes after covering a grenade, Lance Corporal Croucher managed to neutralize a Taliban fighter, and the team was evacuated safely after taking out some of their enemy. For his actions, Croucher was initially put forward for the Victoria Cross, the highest decoration for valor in the British Armed Forces. Had he been awarded the Victoria Cross, he would have been the first Royal Marine to receive the award since 1945, and only the second living recipient in the 21st century. The George Cross is awarded for the same level of bravery expected of a Victoria Cross, but is awarded when no enemy is present. Croucher is one of only 12 living recipients of the medal, of which only 406 have been awarded. Croucher was presented with the George Cross by Queen Elizabeth II at a ceremony in Buckingham Palace on October 30th, 2008. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Sergeant Rooster, over and out.